Hey guys, this is Chris with Strat-o-matic Delaware, and we are continuing to go over the how-to tutorial kind of stuff for Play.com's Red, White, and Blue Race. And that's right, Keith Abalone really knocked it out of the park with this one. It's a fantastic racing game. The first video covered race week events for qualifying. The second one, we've gone through a good deal of the rules in the game instructions booklet for running the race. And now we're going to continue this in this third video. So we have gone through yellow flag turns, and we'll review that again. In a yellow flag turn, no race cam action like these. No race cam action occurs. It's just simply mark one turn, or if it is a two-turn caution, then mark two turns off your score sheet. And I'm going to show you the score sheet here as soon as we get to the end of these rules. And the fourth video is going to be showing a demonstration of how to actually do the game. Alrighty, pit turns. Pit turns are fun, and pit turns are easy to do. And I'll show you where they happen in each race that you run, but let's just see how we do pit turns. Pit turns, you're going to have four things you're going to do. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to roll the black and the metallic dice. Just like that. That's what you're going to do. Now, the metallic dice are used to reorder drivers in both top and middle groups by simply switching positions. So we have rolled a 2 and a 3. That means we're going to take driver number 2 and driver number 3 in the top group, swap them around. So that means Bobby Allison got a slightly better out on his pit, maybe 13.7 seconds, where Rusty Wallace was 14.2, and just didn't quite get back out onto the track in the position that he was. Also in the middle group, you're going to take group 2 and group 3, and you're going to swap those drivers. So Tim Richmond and Dave Marcus would change places. Davey Allison and Ricky Rudd would change places. If these had been doubles, like let's say we had instead rolled a 5-5, then you don't have two numbers where two different positions can switch. This instead means that that numbered driver in each group committed a pit violation, and they're going to the back of the group. So let's say Bill Elliott is driver number 5 in the top group. Speed violation. He's going to the back. Buddy Baker and Bobby Hillen Jr. are number 5 for the middle group. They came into another competitor's pit area getting to theirs. So they're going to the back. They're getting black flagged. Alrighty. Do. Second, you're going to see which group has a chance for a fast pit. And you pretty much are going to follow what you get here on your track. If you roll on the black die a 1 or a 2, it's going to be someone in the top group. If you roll a 3 or a 4, it's going to be someone in the middle group. It diverges from this, where if you roll a 5, it's top and middle group. All 19 drivers get to see if they get a fast pit. If it's number 6, then it is the TV group. Any of the drivers that have their TV cards out, and as you can see, the off-white Bobby Allison and Dale Earnhardt, they would get a fast pit try, where Jeffrey Bodine, Rusty Wallace, Alan Kulwicki, Bill Elliott, Cale Yarborough would not. And also middle group. See if any of these guys, Dave Marcus, Bobby Hillen Jr., Richard Petty, Kyle Petty, would get a fast pit. During this whole pit thing, nothing happens for the bottom group. They're back there. They get no advantage from the pit lap whatsoever. It's only the top and the middle group. So for fast pits, and let's say it was just a top group only for sake of brevity, you're going to look at your driver's cards, and you're going to see the fast pit number. They have to roll that fast pit number or lower in order to get a performance chip. And drivers can have more than one performance chip. So Dale Earnhardt, I'm sorry, I keep moving that around. Dale Earnhardt has fast pit of 11. He needs 11 or less. And he actually, very luckily, rolls an 11. Now he's going to get a second performance chip. He is going to get a second performance chip. Next is Jeffrey Bodine. He requires a 6 or less for his fast pit. And he rolls a 10, so he doesn't get a fast pit. He doesn't get a chip. He stays right there. Rusty Wallace, fast pit, 10 or less. And he rolls an 8. He would get a performance chip. Bobby Allison, fast pit, 9 or less. He rolls a 2. He's good. Alan Kulwicki needs a fast pit of 5 or less. He rolls an 8. He does not get it. So far, Jeffrey Bodine and Alan Kulwicki have not gotten a performance chip. Bill Elliott. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Needs a 10 or less. And he rolls an 8. He'll get a chip. Cale Yarborough. Fast pit 7 or less. He rolls a 6. He'll get a chip. So we have done our fast pit portion. And now we reorder both groups, whether they were involved in the fast pit check or not. Any driver that has a chip, and there are drivers ahead of him in his group that don't have a chip, they get moved to his place, and that driver takes his place. So remember, Jeffrey Bodine and Alan Kulwicki, no chips. So I mean, Rusty Wallace is going to trade places with Jeffrey Bodine. Then Bobby Allison is going to trade places with Jeffrey Bodine here. Alan Kulwicki is going to trade places with Jeffrey Bodine. Bill Elliott trade places with Jeffrey Bodine. So basically, Wallace will move up here, Allison will move here, Kulwicki will move here, and Elliott will move here. Bodine is going to end up back there. Yarborough didn't pass. He stays put. Some people just automatically slide them to fill, but I found an instance where doing it one at a time, you may go around a driver who stays put instead of moving forward or dropping back. So the rule is anybody who has a performance chip, you swap them with the card of the lead player ahead of them in their group that does not have a performance chip. You simply just don't pick them up and slide them. You actually swap them card by card. Most times it'll seem like a pain, like, I need to do a slide it, but there was one time in a race I ran last night where that actually changed the dynamics of the group. So you need to do it one card at a time. And then go to the middle group. While they weren't involved in the pit, but you got two guys with performance chips, Dave Marcus changes places with Mark Martin. So Martin is down here. Kyle Petty changes places with Benny Parsons. So Kyle Petty is here, Parsons is there. If we had just slid them, picked these guys up, then Parsons would be here. And here's my example. Parsons would be right here. If we just picked these guys up, moved them here, slid these guys down, and moved these guys into these places, Benny Parsons would be here. By the rules, Benny Parsons trades places with Kyle Petty. By the rules, he should be all the way back here. So you do need to do it that way. Once you have reordered, one final thing is done. Someone in the top group gets to take a crack at Dale Earnhardt. You roll the red and the black die. The black die says which driver it is. 2. The red die says you need to pass the gas check with that number, and Rusty Wallace does. So he automatically gets Dale Earnhardt's spot. Dale Earnhardt comes back here, so Wallace comes out in front. However, Dale Earnhardt has a performance chip. He spends that performance chip to keep his position as the race leader, and he leads the lap. Performance chips come in really handy, and I think that's actually the next thing we're going to cover here. Pit turn procedure summarized performance chips. And we'll read these through. A driver can use a performance chip to win a challenge or a duel. So let's say Dave Marcus, we have rolled a 3 for the middle group, and we have rolled a 7 for reflex. Well, at some point, Dave Marcus gets to take a shot at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now, you can... No, he's going to go after somebody here in this group. That's right. So Dave Marcus needs a 4 or less to pass his gas pedal check. And he rolls a 3. The white die tells him he's going to be going after driver number 3 with the 3 dice, which is Bobby Allison. Bobby Allison has reflex for 1, 2 stars for 3, and he has the brake bonus for 4. So Dave Marcus needs to roll a 5 or a 6 on the blue die, and he does, so Dave Marcus would take Bobby Allison's spot. If, however, he had rolled a 3 and failed, he spends his performance chip and wins the quality challenge. Likewise, if somebody is going after Dale Earnhardt, and Dale Earnhardt loses, somebody rolls that totally awesome, let's say it is 336, Bobby Allison, and you disregard this for top group because they're always going after the leader. 3 is in his range. Blue 6, you can only have a max of 5 for brake. Blue 6, in that case, is the only thing that would beat Dale Earnhardt, and he got it. Bobby Allison goes to the top. Dale Earnhardt spends his performance chip, stays in the lead. Back to performance chips. There's 1 or 2 other things. Of course, we went over the keep his position in the pit. And note that a driver cannot use a performance chip to avoid a problem, because a problem is something that happens to his car. He can't drive around that. He can use a performance chip to avoid trouble. So if there is trouble, even if he is the one who is targeted, saying this is the driver you need to check for trouble, if he has a performance chip, he can play it and not have to worry about it at all. He escapes. He does not have to make an escape roll or a consequent pit crew grade roll. Also, let's see. Doinky. Also, note that if both the challenger and the defender have a performance chip, then the red, white, blue roll will decide who wins the challenge, and an additional odd, even die roll will determine whether both drivers spend a chip, if it's odd, or if both drivers retain their chips, if it's even. Finally, note that performance chips cannot be carried by drivers in the bottom of the group. Dale Earnhardt finds trouble. He can't escape it. He passes his pit crew repair. However, he's going to the back of the bottom group. He loses his chip. You cannot have a chip in the bottom group. Even if you get one with a TV event, you cannot have a chip in the bottom group. You forfeit it. And there are other optional rules to cover, but basically that's it. Ending the race. The race ends when the final race segment of the final turn is resolved. The final turn only. Disregard results from the bottom group on the race cam die roll. If a black 5 is rolled, check for the indicated quality in both middle and top groups, starting with the middle group. Note that a race cannot end on a yellow flag result if trouble result occurs on a final turn as a result of the race cam chart or duel and a driver is collected, or if the problem causes a yellow flag on the additional turn, you'll need to resolve trouble and or the problem and then conduct an additional turn. You cannot finish a race on yellow. Those are the rules for playing this game. So let me show you the score sheet so you get an idea of what to write where, a good way to keep track of things, and then we will go along and we will do another video and show you how to run the game. For this, let's go ahead and move you over here and just move you totally out of the way for the moment, because I want to be able to write. I'm left-handed. Get in there. Alrighty, so here is your score sheet. Yeah, plain Jane stuff, run-of-the-mill. It's got starting for positions 1, top group 2 through 7, middle group 8 through 19, bottom group 20 to 43. And starting out, shorthand. Don't worry about statistics for the first 3 or 4 races while you're getting the hang of this thing. Really just make it simple for yourself. Get into the game and enjoy it. Don't worry about writing too much stuff down. So I just write the numbers for the drivers that are in each position. Remember that some sets will have duplicate numbers, and those duplicate numbers are differentiated with one car having a star on the hood. For instance, Rusty Wallace, 27 with a star. I would write, and I'll do that so you can see it because I am going to be using the score sheet. Where did my pen just go? Oh, there it is. He's third place, so I will write 27 star. Jeffrey Bodine is number 5. Dale Earnhardt is in the lead, number 3. Bobby Allison is in the 4th position. Alan Kulwicki in the 5th. Bill Elliott in the 6th. Cale Yarborough is a 28, but he is also a star. So that way I know which 28 it is. And go the whole way down. Feuding or fuming drivers, put in these sections. Put your TV list, so that way, just in case you forgot to get the cards out, you know who's on the TV list. Lead changes, I will write, let me get an example out for you so you can see better how I do it. Do it however you want, whatever system works for you. Come up with your own shorthand. But the easier you make it on yourself, the more fun you're going to have and more quickly. Here's a race I ran last night at Charlotte. And it was kind of nasty. I don't want to mess those up. But there, you can see I've got the TV list, feuding, lead changes. I'll write the car's number, and then like he led lap 1, I'll write 1. And then I'll go until there's a lead change. So Earnhardt took it from Harry Gant on at lap 11. So I wrote 3:11, and then it's 1 through 10. I know it was 10 laps. Down here for notes, I'll write O for out, the number of the lap, and then the number of the drivers involved. And there was a crazy one on lap 30. It took 4 drivers out, but a total of 23 cars were involved when number 6, Mark Martin, spun out. Cool stuff like that you can write down. Keeping track of the laps. Let's get a little closer for this one. Keeping track of the laps. If it's a regular lap, I just put an X in it. If there is a caution, if it's a yellow flag lap, I put a Y for a yellow. Every turn it ends in a 7 is going to be your pit laps. So lap number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15, 16, 17, 27, 37, 47. Should you get a 600 like Charlotte 600, Daytona 600, 57. I always cross out whatever. I shouldn't cross out whatever laps are not going to be used, because if it ends on a yellow, you've got to use an extra one, so I shouldn't do that. But I'll mark first third of the race, second third of the race, first third of the race, so that way I know which of those charts to use. First third, middle third, final third. Short, quick second video for running the game. Not much to it. So the next video is going to be actually playing this game and showing you going through some laps and how to resolve different things. So guys, this is Chris, strat-o-matic Delaware, red, white, and blue racing from play.com. Keith Abalone, thank you very much for such a fun game. We're going to see how fun it is here in just a minute, guys. Thank you, and keep on rolling.